We have the Iran war that we're about to be stepping into. We have the ICE protests because of the Alex Pretti justified shooting, in my opinion. We have Greenland. We have Venezuela. We have so many things happening. We have Trump, as always, in the media. We're talking about all of the markets today. We're talking about crypto a lot. We're going to talk about the ICE shooting that occurred recently with Alex Pretti and that entire incident, and my take from a law enforcement perspective and why I think the shooting was 100% justified, though there was things that could have been done differently. But it was a good shoot, and totality of circumstances, fact pattern tells us he was there to act as a defector. I'm talking about Alex. He was there to thwart ICE agents and lawful operations, and ultimately he was there to commit insurrection. And that is exactly what happened. And because of this, the result of him being there at that moment, the result of him being at this protest where there's already people there and where there's already all this chaos happening, and he says, oh, well, I think I'm going to go there. And you know what? I'm not just going to bring my P320 6-hour. I'm also going to load two fully loaded magazines. Want to make sure I load 2 fully loaded magazines. And that's important. Oh yeah, I'm going to make sure that I take my phone out, try to confront the police, and not try. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. And you go over there with your phone. This is in all the videos, by the way, that they're not showing. And it shows him with his phone, and he's in the middle of the street and he's pointing at the ICE agent. And at this point, the ICE agent walks over. He's like, hey, come on, man, let's back up. Get back. Come on, you're in the street. And then all of a sudden, this guy gets sporadic. He becomes like violent. He becomes like, suddenly he's resisting. Absolutely, he was resisting. It didn't look like he was helping anybody. I actually thought he was attacking the woman until somebody had said, oh no, he was helping her out. And I'm like, oh, but sure didn't look like that. It looked like he was attacking her. Like, these people are nuts. You know, at the end of the day, this is completely justified shooting. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm also going to talk about XRP and why Bitcoin is down, why the whole crypto market is down. Why does that matter? And also, we're going to talk about real estate. Are you going to be able to invest in real estate, or is it going to be too hard? Let's take a deep dive in. And then, of course, we have The Matrix, which attacks everybody. We have Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes and all of the entire crew, Sneeko, Clavicular, and they ended up getting banned from the club in Miami for the Heil Hitler song by Ye. And that was pretty interesting. And I thought it was awesome because it's a display of free speech. It's a display of American power. And I think Andrew Tate should draw it back. He should just be proud of it. He should embrace it. This isn't about a Nazism. It isn't about anti-Semitism. It is about protest. It's about satirical, peaceful protest. It's about fun. None of this was really intended to be harmful towards anybody. Okay, it's setting the precedent that we can have fun, we can have a good time, and we can all have freedom of speech. And that's the point of freedom of speech, is being able to say what we want to say when we want to say it. And I think that was just extremely brave of them to do that. Also, be sure to subscribe, be sure to like, share, comment, and follow. I'm trying to grow this channel and trying to grow some kind of a presence on social media, right? It's 2026, it's insane. I don't even know what we're supposed to do, right? I mean, like, as an entrepreneur myself, I love AI. We'll be talking about AI, by the way, today, and some big shifts that are happening, especially with Larry Ellison acquiring TikTok and all of that. Just crazy developments, and, you know, the stuff doesn't happen unless you're living in crazy times. And the way that I like to think is that we were born for this time. You know, we're born for the next era. I think it's time for the next era. And it feels like that. It feels like it's time to transcend. It feels like it's time for everybody to learn, to actually read this thing, the Holy Bible. And I'm not like a preacher. I'm not like some Jesus freak or anything like that. I consider myself probably more of a leaning Orthodox Christian, but I think it's all important. I think America should be a Christian Catholic country. I don't want to force our religion on everybody, but the thing is, it's just like, we're the only religion that actually gives you a choice. You know, if you really learn about Islam or you learn about Judaism, you don't exactly get a choice. You know, it's like, if you're not Jewish, if you choose Judaism, and if you're actually like not Jewish, like, you know, you're pretty much screwed. And then if you're Islam, and if you don't convert to Sharia law, forcibly convert to Sharia law, then you become this basically slave. and you become a sex trafficked slave, and essentially, you're basically completely replaced in your country because strength in numbers through historic invasions of the Muslim race through Islam and all of their religion. They have conquered many, many different civilizations throughout history and through these same exact means. And so I think it's very just upsetting. I see Europe and the way that it looks today, and I also hear these rabbis, and I see the videos. If you go on my page, you can see it, and I see these rabbis that are just bragging about the end of the white race, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't get that. It's just like, what's the deal? And I do know the deal. They say that it's this 2,000-year-old curse, and it's like, really? Like, really? Like, you're saying, like, you have the chance, we're giving you this slice of land that's really not yours, and here we're going to share it with you because honestly, let's just be honest, who really basically is the reason that they got the land? It's us. And which is kind of shameful because basically we ethnically cleansed Palestine, the land of Palestine. Oh yeah, by the way, isn't that interesting? In this Bible, look at what it says. Palestine. The land of Palestine. There you go. You can see it better with the lighting. But why is it not called Israel in the Bible? And you could argue, well, because there was different copies of the Bible written at different times and we also have the Schofield Bible and all of that. This is not the Schofield Bible. This is the King James Bible. This is the real Bible, the Bible that they tried to subvert. And it's kind of like a family Bible, the way I like to see it. Ultimately, that's what I believe, though. America should be a Christian country, a Catholic country, and I'm proud of that. And I think, what we're seeing today is the division and what happens when we're not a country who's rooted in religion. So I wanted to break into AI now, so let's talk about that a little bit. So the AI space is exploding, but not without warnings. Trending on X today are posts about Microsoft receives Tay chatbot experiment highlighting LLM risks like bias and misinformation, and new research papers on advanced capabilities. One high engagement thread from Zapped_AI warns of an AI bubble rewriting the economy, with Wall Street on alert. Meanwhile, investments are pouring in, with Zscaler, Google, and Base 10, along with Alibaba, Cloud, and LiveKit, are scaling AI infrastructures, along with Goldshark Media AI, per a viral post from TG Beings. NVIDIA's chip crunch could last years, says Synopsys, and Boston Dynamics is ramping up on 30,000 Atlas robots annually. Remember that $600 billion that Mark Zuckerberg wanted to put into the American economy? Well, that's where it's going. We're going to build iRobot. The future of iRobot is coming. The technocratic future is coming. So I hope you're ready for this. I hope you're excited for your home robot that's going to probably kill you and rip your heart out in your sleep. Basically, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 to become a real-life video game, or Black Ops 3. I think at the beginning of the game, the robot goes in and like rips the dude's heart out and he like destroys him. It's like, okay. Big in the media today is that we also have the EU that's been cracking down on free speech. We have that entire war happening with the United States and the EU, and particularly Keir Starmer's United Kingdom right now, where if you say anything about Keir Starmer or the government or basically anything that's going wrong with the government, you're going to be thrown in jail for 10 years. And if you say anything wrong about all of the rapes happening, all of these insane things happening in the country, just massive crime, it's a human experiment. It's a complete it is a total psychological operation in the United Kingdom, I would say. I mean, the UK has been conquered. People can always rise again, and Europe must rise again. Their identity must rise again. And America's identity must also rise again, because right now we're giving our country away to foreigners. And then you can see that with all of these radical leftists who are inside of signal chats, who, again, allowing these anti-ICE operations to exist. And if you even look deeper into this, you can see that Cam Higsby was the one that ended up releasing all of this content, all of the leaks. As an investigative journalist, shout out to him. And he was the one who broke this, so be sure to follow him. Be sure to follow his leaks and his updates and all of the drops that he's been leaving on X. And follow me on X at Ecker17. You know, we're allowing fraud to be facilitated in our own hometowns, in our own backyards, just because we don't understand what's happening, because we've all been asleep when ICE comes storming through your neighborhood, arresting these really bad people, guys. A lot of these people are money launderers for the most part that come from different countries, mostly Somalia, and they're completely ripping off and disenfranchising the American taxpayer, you. And so that's the problem. So a lot of the American people today are defending this. We're defending the bad people, and it's insanity. It's like, clearly we know who the bad guys are. It's not ICE, okay? There is a difference between law and order and lawlessness. There is a complete difference between all of that. And we are not in a police state. Not yet. Well, I mean, though we're getting close, with Donald Trump, we don't have that yet. But we are getting there. And I see where people's concerns lie, but not there yet. You would have probably had this under the Biden administration or Kamala Harris administration. I can tell you that right now. And so this is probably what's coming in 2028. This is probably what's coming for the city of New York. And this is what their Jewish rabbis even say. And don't take it from me. The rabbis have all agreed that the city of New York City, they put a Muslim in there. And that's the heart of America. So what do you think's coming for the United States? Not good things. Okay? And so you need to prepare. And that's why I made this show. It's because you need to be involved in business. You need to be interested in business. With AI not just being hype anymore, as it's taking over everything, you're seeing it in Grok Imagine. It's amazing the generations that Grok Imagine can actually do. It's quite phenomenal, actually. You can make a whole career out of making Grok Imagine videos all day and just plugging them into CapCut and just making videos. And just, you could do this for somebody else, charge $100, $200 to somebody like me. I'm a business owner, so I'm constantly hiring people, and boom, bada boom, you're making money. And so this is something you need to think about. This is your competition, though. It's also saturated. You have everybody using AI, putting in the exact same prompts. What do you think is going to happen? Eventually, people are going to have the same exact ideas, the exact same outputs. And again, Sam Altman basically just said that he's going to start allowing ads to be placed into the answers. So whenever you ask ChatGPT, hey, what is the best software I should use to build a website? And if somebody runs enough advertising dollars, instead of giving you the best website builder at that current time based on that accurate, specific, smart data, it will give you this fake data, and it will basically run you the sponsorship via the people who paid for the ads. So basically, their companies are showing up in your ChatGPT answers. So that's the problem with Sam Altman, and he's over-corporatizing already artificial intelligence. And if we do care about the future of AI and not becoming a Terminator future, which I doubt they actually want, I mean, obviously they want us all dead, right? But if Elon's being honest, then Grok needs to never become like Sam Altman's ChatGPT. And we need to always allow freedom of speech. You need to always allow people to generate satirical images so long as they are funny, so long as they do not violate the law, they are not threatening, they are not harassing in any way, no sexual exploitation of minors especially. That's a big problem with the X algorithm right now and everything that's happening with that. And so these are the things you need to think about. Geopolitically, the entire US-China chip war, the microchip war, is the biggest challenge today for America. So we're taking a lot of heat and impact from China because they're essentially reaping the benefits of the microchip and that entire industry. And essentially with Taiwan, which they want to storm and take, and if China were to end up take Taiwan, that would essentially change the entire game of who controls the microchips, the microprocessors, all of these things, the semiconductors, and a lot of these facilities are in Taiwan. So whenever you hear the news talk about China wants to invade Taiwan, now you know why. It's all for the data centers. It's for the AI. This is what it's all about. It's for the microprocessors. Again, it's for all of the things that build the electric vehicles. Again, why are we in the Ukraine-Russia war? It's not necessarily because we care about Ukraine so much. It's because we care about the rare earth elements and the lithium. We care about all of the natural rare earth elements because America first. We dominate the globe. And especially if we have the means to do it. And if we're asked to do it, which we were with Russia and Ukraine as a peace mediator. And so in that sense, we were able to go in and essentially control the entire deal. However, this also stems from Biden and a lot of his corrupt deals that happened while he was president towards the end of his presidency, which ultimately was going to fall right onto Trump. And so this war has been happening now since Trump has been reelected since 2024, and 2 years later, and now here we are. So now we're moving into entrepreneurship. Funding news is hot on X, with Threads celebrating fresh rounds amid a startup resurgence. Key stories are the travel platform Escape Plan, which raised $25 million by Jungle Ventures. Snack brand Truvy snagged $5 million from Fireside and Sharp. AI software firm Emergent pulled in $70 million via Colcia and Softbank. So 2026 is going to be all about sustainable models. It's going to be all about building the future. Are you building the infrastructure of AI? This is the new .com boom. This is why I say crypto is happening. Whether you like it or not, you better be prepared. Because ultimately, Larry Fink, and as they were speaking at Davos, they want crypto to happen. And they want all of it to be a real living thing in America. They want all of that to exist. And so we need to be ready for that. Whether it's XRP, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's HBAR, all of these things need to be considered. You need to be investing in the altcoins. You got to be investing in assets that are appreciating in value, that are going to make you money while you sleep. Overnight, you could become wealthy if you have the right amount. You go to work, and there's also gold. Gold also just reached $5,000 plus this past week. So when you tie everything into a broader lens, AI is dominating the future. This goes back to the $600 billion or so, allegedly, Mark Zuckerberg was going to put into the AI bill and what was going to be put into this future of artificial intelligence. I think partially that's very true. And the American people will get nothing. You will get free AI. Everything in your future will be AI. And what does that mean for crypto? Why is that important for crypto? Because if you're an investor in crypto, or if you've been holding crypto since 2016 like myself, you understand what it's like to live through a bull market. You know what it's like to be patient. You know what it's like to go through a market shakeout. You know that you always buy more during the fear greed index when that needle's on fear. Okay, that's when you buy more. That's when you get aggressive. A lot of these billionaires never sell their stock. Steve Jobs didn't sell his stock for like 20, 25 years. So you need to think the same way and how to preserve your wealth. You need to be thinking generational wealth. This could be the moment that basically frees you if you can be a little bit patient, if you can hold back from selling all of your investments, whatever it might be. Don't get greedy, and you might just be able to reap a lot of benefit in the future, and I really believe that. I project that XRP absolutely has the potential to reach $10,000, $50,000 a coin. Just from my analysis as a real estate agent, I'm not a financial expert at all, but I just, from studying markets, from what I've seen in XRP, what I understand about XRP and the technology, has a unit of account. It is like way more than 1,500 transactions per second now, by the way, way more advanced. It's actually older than Bitcoin. It is the pipeline. It is the infrastructure of Bitcoin. And a lot of people don't know that. It came first. And so a lot of interesting things that, they're not allowed to say about XRP. Larry Fink, isn't it interesting that he had a non-disclosure agreement? And basically, well, we don't know that for sure, but we know that he never talks about XRP. He never talks about it, does he? He talks about Bitcoin, talks about Ethereum. They all talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they never talk about XRP, Ripple, the company Ripple, the currency XRP. I think this will be the future. I think it will make many people wealthy. And I think it will make the elites wealthy. I think it will make the poor people wealthy. Everybody will be happy. You ready to grow? If you are ready to grow, then you ought to work with me at goldsharkmedia.com, or you can hire me as your freelancer on Upwork, or I can even assist you with your next project in terms of building up a website, video editing, any of these things, lead generation. This is what I like to do. And of course, podcasting. Do you agree with my points or do you disagree? I want to hear about it. So you want to podcast with me? Let's go. Let's go. I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to chat. What's your next startup idea? Reply in the chat below. Crypto is trending hard on X. It's always trending hard on X, right? Everybody loves crypto. Everybody wants to get rich from crypto, and it is the future. Whales right now are buying Ethereum and Solana, and the signal prices are for rises to come. Soon, the Clarity Act is going to be passed in Congress. When this day comes, you will likely see some kind of price action. I'm not promising anything, but just as an investor myself, I understand that the laws mean everything, and that I've seen this for a long time. You need the laws before you can have any kind of financial success in the American economy. Everything's about banking here. Everything is about money and contracts, and things move slow. Everything is about lawfare. Everything is about systems and currencies and management of those currencies and the flow of which they move. And so once you understand that, you understand how critical it is to actually consider assets like XRP and these different kind of currencies that can actually act as very powerful stable coins for immediate cross-border payment transactions and all of these different powers. And a lot of these superpowers can't really be done by other cryptocurrency companies. So I do recommend you keep your mind open. Keep it open for digital assets, emerging markets in digital assets, ETFs, and those are doing really well right now. So think ahead and think about how that can actually benefit your life if you do it right. Do the research, due diligence, of course. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what's happening with crypto. Binance is still stabilizing on institutional interest as Bitcoin is a sovereign asset gaining traction, and Brian Armstrong actually is more of the reason that the Clarity Act wasn't able to pass recently, just because he wasn't okay with some of the language that was in the bill, supposedly. And Brad Garlinghouse was more quick to pass it. And again, a lot of it was because it was more in favor of stablecoins versus other assets like Bitcoin. So, there's a lot of that debate as to whether or not all these other assets are going to be included. But we know for sure that Donald Trump talked about 5. He talked about Bitcoin, talked about Ethereum, he talked about XRP, he put Solana on there, and he put ADA Cardano. These were the 5 that he originally had. I also believe that HBAR will be a player. I also believe that Algorand will be a player. I believe that Dogecoin will definitely be a player. And I think all of these things will be players in the future to come. And I think if you invest in these things, and I think if you're smart, don't get shaken out of the market. Don't get afraid of the red needle sometimes, the red candle. Don't get afraid of it. Just buy more when the prices get low, so long as it makes sense for you financially, so long as you have the money, of course. But think ahead. Think 20 years ahead. How are you going to make yourself rich? Appreciating assets. What are they building in the future? What's going to exist in 2030 that I can invest in right now and stay ahead of the game and make money quick? Think like that all the time. I really recommend people just diversify and keep yourself, engaged all the time. Thinking, reading books. The signals overall for crypto are pretty bullish at 2 to 3% price upside for majors like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which will ultimately push forward the entire altcoin market, in my opinion. So invest in crypto. Now let's move on to finance. Nvidia and the $2 billion into CoreWeave, which tops the X trends today, alongside Google's Gemini Siri debut and central banks, Russia, China, and India, hoarding gold. Trump's 25% tariff hike on South Korea shakes markets, per Kaido. So as a realtor, I can't promise you that the real estate market is going to be great, but what I can promise you is that if you stay focused on all of the things that are to come, like the tariffs that are going to be inflating costs, hurting affordability in the Iowa theme here, and along with the domestic AI/finance with Microsoft's Maya chip and reduced Nvidia reliance, all of those things, there's also gold and silver near highs amid safe haven demand ties for winter storm disruptions and market rotations toward yield. You'll definitely want to consider investing in a lot of ESG bonds and things like that. Tax-free muni bonds, things that are going to make you 5% a year, right? Take care of yourself first. If you got a lot of money, you got 100 grand, you got 50 grand, you got 10 grand, you got 1 grand, put half of it in a money market fund that makes money while you sleep, 5%. You got to earn money on your income. You got to earn money on your money. Okay, you can't let everybody beat you out because they're just doing more work, because they're like doing the research, right? You just can't do it. Drop your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen with the financial markets? What do you think is happening with crypto? You think it's going up? You think it's going down? Where do you think the prices are going? I project that Bitcoin will definitely hit $250,000 this year in 2026, and I also predict that XRP will likely hit at least $8 to $25 this year, and that's my prediction for the end of 2026. I think these prices could happen, and obviously we hope it does better. Because if it does better, we all do better, and our lives can be better. On to the next subject, okay? Now I wanted to talk a little bit about geopolitics because it's one of the biggest stories to talk about on X. It's everything, right? Geopolitics is the entire world of which the entire grid is played. The game of war, right? And the game of life, the game of America. And right now, that geopolitical game is on fire. As listed before, we have Trump's tariffs, which threaten South Korea. And this also is ahead of the Greenland push, rattling NATO forces with the Danish troops, who basically sent like 2 troops there. Basically, a deal has been made at Davos for there to be some kind of agreement where Trump and America would have our national security around Greenland. Greenland would be paid some kind of reward, and the EU would get some kind of leverage and control over that land too. I don't know how much that will last. Doesn't sound like Trump wants that to be the final outcome, so we'll see what happens with it. But I do think that it would be in America's best interest to take Greenland completely. And the reason I say that isn't because I believe in war. I don't believe in that. We shouldn't go to war with Greenland. We can just enrich Greenland. It's a population of only 58,000 people, right? So if we just enrich the people and pay them $100,000 to $500,000 each person, then this can incentivize us to really invest in national security. But ultimately, we can make a lot of money from, the military upgrades that we can have from that, all the defense contracts that can be made. And, ultimately, the money that can be made from the tariffs and war can make a lot of money for America. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to pay down that $37 trillion debt. Ironically, all we're doing is adding to the debt, right? We're just adding to the debt when we're getting ourselves involved in all of these wars. This also all happens after the Minneapolis incidents where Renee Nicole Good, Tim Walz being exposed for $8 billion, $9 billion of fraud. And then recently, just a couple days ago, we had the Alex Pretti shooting where he was basically acting as an insurrectionist in ICE territory where they were conducting lawful law enforcement investigations. And Alex had impeded these investigations by taking his phone, walking in the middle of the road, disrupting these officers, their line of duty, so they pushed him to the sidewalk, and he continued to be violent. And he squared up with them, and basically he didn't punch them, he didn't pull his gun on them, but he did not back down, and he basically resisted. He resisted arrest completely, and not like he was meant to be arrested, but he was squaring up with the officer. He was like getting in his face as the other officer was trying to just push him back, and then he's like still squaring up with him. And so this is what caused this entire struggle. So his actions, Alex Pretti's actions to begin with, even being there, again, not even for the purposes of free speech or protest, he was there for the purposes of insurrection, to cause chaos. And so now we have a divide in the Republican Party and the right wing and conservatives, where we have some people who believe that it was an unjustified shooting. Some people believe that it was justified. Tell you what, as a cop, it was very easy for me to decipher the fact that this was completely 100% justified. And just basically saying, hey, listen, it's like, you're going to try to attack cops. What do you think's going to happen, dumbass? It's like, use your brain. Again, we don't celebrate his death. We don't celebrate Renee Nicole Good's death, but common sense would suggest that that's not a good idea. It's actually illegal, by the way, to carry a P326 pistol on your person with 2 fully loaded magazines in the state of Minnesota. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that his intent the entire time was to thwart lawful executive orders by the President of the United States to conduct these deportation operations. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. We just say, oh, he's a victim. He's a blameless victim. But it's like, dude, these people would celebrate if you died. You were wearing your MAGA hat, and if these people killed you, they'd celebrate. They'd shit down your neck. They'd never accept you on their side. And so you have to understand that about the left. And this is what we're dealing with. So that's kind of my take on that. It was a 100% justified shooting, and it wasn't even the ICE agent's gun that went off first. It was this Alex guy's gun, because when ICE agent A pulled the weapon off of Alex's backside, basically, as that ICE agent was running away with it, it triggered accidentally. It didn't even look like his finger was on the trigger, very clear as day to tell. And so what we have here is just a complete clusterfuck of events. We also have China's President Xi, who purged the top general, Zhang Waxia, for leaking nuclear secrets to the U.S., Wall Street Journal. So we also have Trump's Board of Peace Summit, which is interesting because it's spelled P-I-E-C-E. Peace, Board of Peace. What do you think that means? War, baby. In pieces, it seems. And so, unfortunately, this is the country we live in. We live in a country dominated by warmongers where the American people get nothing, you get nothing, and we pay for more war, we pay for more AI, we pay for our own destruction and the death of our future, and we celebrate illegal immigration, we celebrate the death of our identity, and we celebrate the death of America because we are communists. No, like seriously, like this is the way they think. This is the way they think. That's how these people are. They truly hate America. Geopolitically, the United States is not in a position where we should even be involved with the Ukraine-Russia war beyond a point of mediation. Okay, I do believe that there should be some level of control in Ukraine, and I also believe that there should be some level of sovereignty for each state, Ukraine and Russia also. But America should have some type of control over it, considering we're the ones paying for this entire war to exist. Thanks to Lindsey Graham, you're getting us involved in this war, you're hurting the American taxpayer, you're hurting the American people, and we also just gave another $3 billion to the state of Israel. Couldn't you believe it? Billions of dollars to Israel again, and there's now war activity in Iran and Tehran as the protests spike up. All of these things are happening, and we don't really know how to handle it, and we're all just kind of waiting for the next thing. As a police officer, as a real estate agent, I can tell you now, you gotta be smart. As the real estate market is currently at 6% interest rates, nothing's going down. It's a stagnant market. And if you want to invest in real estate, then you better make sure you got your cards in order. You better make sure you know your numbers. You better make sure you know the flaws. You better make sure you know your plan. Because real estate's not as easy to make passive income today. And I'll be the only realtor who will ever tell you that. You know, my objective here is to tell you the truth. So as a real estate agent myself, I tell you, save up as much money as you can before you get into real estate. And then when you do, call me up and we'll find you the best deal. You know, you selling your property, then I can walk you through that. I understand how the process goes. I know that real estate is a tricky business. It's not perfect, but ultimately my job is to help you get your American dream accomplished. I want to help you get that next transaction done. I want to help you make sure that it's done correctly. I want to make sure that we help you accomplish your American dream. Okay, so call me up if you're a buyer, a seller, or an investor, and you're looking to invest in Michigan real estate. Call me up, Brendan Ecker, Keller Williams Lakeside. You can email me at team@brendaneckerrealty.com. If you want to grow your business, you can either shoot me a DM or you can visit goldsharkmedia.com and pay for a consultation. We believe in pure Michigan. You want to invest in pure Michigan? I'll help you out. You got to call me up though first, and we got to talk about your plan, your financial situation, and where you're at. So from the ICE protests happening in Minneapolis, from all of the different market shifts happening with artificial intelligence and how it's eating up the entire human market today, and it leaves us at a position of singularity. As Elon Musk likes to say, what is the future of humanity? Are we going to remain human? Are we going to remain a people that can be united? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.